Hey guys, what's going on? So we have a lot to talk about, and let's get to it. 34.0 just dropped into the game, and I've had a little bit of time to analyze some things. I played. I did an entire live stream. If you wanted to go through that live stream, I went in depth into perks, into perks, spells and artifacts. And I talked about just every individual spell, artifact, and perk. So I will not do that here. I will eventually do a spell and artifact tier list. But I do think that a tier list would be there's a lot of things in here that are very deck specific. So where some of these things might not work well for one deck, it might not. It might work really well for a different deck. And depending on how you build decks, it's going to be very different. But before I do all of that, because I don't want to make another video. This is the other video. This is another thing that I would talk about. Or if I made another video, and I'm just going to shove it into this one. I do not necessarily encourage a lot of buying in this game. I'm very, very famously, whenever an event comes around, I don't tell anybody to buy like the packs. I think the packs are very, very bad. And even if you want to look at Mirror Match and Masters Tournament for getting event units and think that rate is bad, that you're getting random units from the chest, you're only getting one unit from the $10 that you're spending, and then you're getting tokens for, once you use it once you do 4 events, you're getting tokens for a random event. As much as bad as that is, it is still better than if you pay $25 in an event for two copies of something. That's just a bad rate. So I don't normally tell people to spend money on things, but I will tell you to spend money on this. Trades for a year is something that they've never done. You can complain that they should just add this as a feature anyway, but they're not. So, you can either do this or not do this. You don't have to do this, but I would encourage you to do this. Gaining +1 trade in the Magic Lab every single month is madness. And at the rate of, for just a one-time offer of $5, half a season pass, I think that this is a very, very good offer. The fact that one of the things that I would tell everybody to spend gems on, one of the only things, is trades. As you know, whenever you upgrade something, it costs a lot. It costs a lot to upgrade. You need a lot of orbs. To upgrade my Frost from 13 to 14, you need 7 orbs. You should be upgrading Pantheon units so that you can get the bonus orbs, so that you can be like my... I have a lot of bonus orbs on my Boreas. I have max Boreas. I can max a Boreas right now. I have 15 bonus orbs. I think I have a lot on my Bruiser. I have, Clock. I have 16 on my Clock. You should be upgrading all of your Pantheon units, specifically your Pantheon units, because that's those are the only units that it will work for. But you should, and if you upgrade your Pantheon units, you will get bonus orbs for everything else. So that alleviates the cost of, or the amount of bonus orbs that you will eventually use, or you eventually need. But in order to even upgrade Pantheon units, you still need orbs. You just still need straight orbs. And one of the very specific things that I always tell people to do every single season is spend 500 in the Magic Lab for 5 more additional trades every single month. If you do 5 trades, if you just do the regular 5 trades every single month, you're getting 60 orbs a year. If you do if you spend 500 gems and you just save 500 gems every single month free to play, you will get an additional 60 for the year. You'll get 120 orbs every single year just from the Magic Lab. If you spend $5 extra just to do this, you're getting 7 orbs, or you're getting 12 additional orbs. Oh my God, where is it? You're going to be getting 12 additional orbs for $5, and that's a great deal. You need orbs every single season. It's an important currency in this game, and the fact that you will just get 12 orbs for $5, it's an incredible deal, because that's how you have to look at this. Anyway, actually, I'm gonna buy this. I'm not even gonna buy it at a discount. Screw you, Rush Royale. And now I have an extra orb. I'm gonna trade that. And that's an extra orb right now. So not only is it an extra orb right now, I just got 13 orbs. Ha! Take that, Rush Royale. No, I don't know. Anyway, so the biggest change to 34.0 is going to be that they got rid of all of your equipment. Crit bow, sword, amulet of swiftness, amulet of weakness, amulet of growth, and they got rid of all of it. And I'll explain very quickly why they decided to do that. The reason why they decided to do that was when you were building equipment for a specific deck. Let's say you really like Treant, and so you want to build a Treant deck, and you wanted to build a crit bow at some point you wanted to build a spear, right? You wanted to upgrade, 2 common spears so that you can get it to a rare spear, and then 2 rare spears so that you can get it to a epic spear, and then 2 epic spears so that you can get it to a legendary spear. And then you wanted to, mythic it out, right? And you wanted to save all the resources, 15,000 essence, 120 hammers, right? And you got the perfect reroll. You just kept rerolling for Counterspell, or you kept rerolling for Morally Grey, right? And you got a perfect spear, right, for your Treant deck. And then you realized, wow, everybody is now using crit bow. What do you have to do now? Yeah, now I have to farm two common spears, and now I have to farm, 2 rare spears, and then get it right. And you had to keep doing this. And then what if you're like, oh, you know what? Treant's really bad now. I actually want to use Genie. Oh, okay. So everybody says that you should probably build a sword, right? Or you should probably get a Magic Council faction for your crit bow. And you probably don't even need Counterspell anymore, because now you're running Mermaid in a Genie deck, right? Okay, so now I have a crit bow, but it doesn't have Magic Council on it. So now I have to re-roll the Magic Council, and then now I don't need Counterspell anymore because I'm using Mermaid. So now I have to re-roll the Counterspell to get Morally Grey or something, right? That entire system was insane. And I alleviated that by saying I'm a Forest Faction main player, and that I was specifically trying very, very hard for as long as I've been playing this game. Actually, you know what? I have a screenshot of it. 1 second. Thank God for trash. I deleted this a little while ago because I didn't think that I was going to need it anymore, but I didn't remove my trash, and my trash, it empties eventually in 30 days, but usually I'm really good. I'm getting to the end of my phone life. I think I'm at 80 gigs of 120 or 102 gigs. And so I constantly try to empty out my phone, but when you delete your photos, it does stay in the trash for 30 days, and that's how I still have this. But what I'm trying to say is, what I did was I spec'd out all of my gear. All of my gear is Forest Faction specific. I did a Forest Faction amulet, a Forest Faction hunter's jacket, a Forest Faction crit bow. And then when I was trying to make secondary gear, what I did was, okay, right here I have dark Forest and Magic Council. What I need is an Amulet of Swiftness that has Techno and Light Faction. So what did I do? I farmed another one, and I got Light Faction and Techno. And then what was I eventually going to do? Upgrade them both so that I could get a mythic thing. And that's what I was trying to do. But that process, that insane process, has taken this is the entirety of my career playing this game since 2020. What if you gave this to a new player who just started the game and said, you need to do this. You need to do this in order to get everything. You need to double up all of your legendaries, max out 2 legendaries all the way, use all the essence to unlock all 3 factions, max out 2 legendaries, and then spend 15,000 essence in order to get a mythic version of that one specific thing. But if you want to change your counterspell, you have to re-roll and re-roll and re-roll. And if you want to change it again, you have to re-roll again. And if you want to change it to a different deck, you have to re-roll it again. The system as it was, even though I would have been fine getting a whole bunch of just mythicking out all of everything, because that was my plan, obviously, because that was the system in the game. That was my plan, and that's what I wanted to do. And they realized when they introduced the Grimoire into the game and nobody was farming it because nobody cared, and that it would take so long for anybody to actually use it, they realized that this system is terrible. And the system is terrible. And so what they decided to do is do away with all of it. They gave it back to you. They gave you back the bonuses that you were getting from your equipment and put it into perks. And then they gave you all of your enchantments and made them spells and artifacts. In some cases, some of the artifacts are these top 4 artifacts, these top 4 things. Can you actually? Oh wait, no, it's not even these. What am I looking for? Oh, I guess it is these. Can you not do this? Oh, okay, no, got it. So these top 5. These top 5 are going to be... oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not even these top 5. Or is it these top 5? Does it just happen to be these top 5? I guess, yeah, it just happens to be... No. They specifically put these as the top 5. So despite what your levels are, these top 5 are basically going to be your amulets. This one is a relic of swiftness. It's an amulet of swiftness. This is a relic of healing, which is a different kind of amulet. What it does is it creates 4 tiles, and then when you merge onto them, it heals bosses, or it heals bosses and mini bosses by 7% at the level that I currently have it at, but at max it'll do 10%. And summoned monsters on their field by 20%. And then this one is a relic of summoning. I think that this is amazing. I think that there are very specific decks that would specifically use this. It creates 2 tiles on the field, and every 8 seconds at max, units of Merge Rank 1 are just automatically summoned to those tiles. I think that's a really interesting mechanic. Just having 2 open tiles on your field that just keep popping up monsters is crazy. This is an amulet of growth, obviously. It's a relic of growth. At max, it looks pretty okay. It's a little underwhelming, but if you are running a 1-unit deck where you just, or a 1 or 2 unit deck that you only care about a very small amount of units, I think this will work really well. You are gaining 1% for every merge on the tile, and you get an up to 40% bonus onto things on the tile. But the big problem about this is that, they changed it. Never mind. Originally it said, when I was doing my live, it originally said, every wave the tile loses 2% of the bonus. So you have to keep merging twice. But they changed it to 1%, which is much better. So I think that this is much better as well. And then this one is super interesting. I don't think, unless Clock makes a comeback, I don't think this is that great. But this is whenever it creates 4 tiles, and then when you merge onto it, you get a charge counter. When you get 8 charge counters, there's a board-wide reduction of attack speed on their side for 30% for the duration of 10 seconds. If there's a Clock deck that exists at some point, and if they give Clock talents, I could see this making a resurgence. But without Hunter's Jacket, I don't think this is that great. Attack speed, with how fast monsters attack now, reducing a monster's attack speed by 30% or 30%. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. With your gunslinger, just gunslinger alone, you're giving your monsters 15%. Negating that and doing 15% more, I don't know. I haven't seen this in practice, and I could be proven wrong. But I think that if Clock gets talents, I think that more people would start using this. But anyway, with those 5, you can only use 1 in your deck at a time. And so right here, I do have the Relic of Swiftness. I think that it's very good. It's as good as it used to be. Mine is a level 5, and it goes to level 10, and then you get a 30% flat damage boost for your entire field as soon as you merge or interact with each of the tiles, how it worked before. But the way that this system works, and you know what? I'm going to pause one more time really quick. Okay. The way that this system works is when you start upgrading, your board will look like this. Upgrade 1 for 50, upgrade 5 for 750, upgrade 10 for 2750. Now, you have to understand that I originally made this meme because none of these numbers make sense. If you upgrade if the one upgrade is 50, upgrading that and pressing that button a bunch of times should be 50 times 5, which is 250. So an upgrade 5 should be 250, and then 50 times 10 is 500. That number is crazy. Upgrading 10 for 2750 is a crazy number. Now, I made this as a meme when all I saw was just this as a singular screenshot that somebody posted. I was like, these numbers are so stupid. What's Rush Royale doing? Now, here's the thing. Eventually, what you eventually get to is the numbers that I have right now, which are 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000. Eventually, all of these numbers become this and stay this because these numbers make sense, right? Upgrade, if you want to do a singular upgrade, 1,000. You want to do 5 of those? 5,000. You want to do 10 of those? 10,000. That makes sense, right? Now, the thing is, when you are upgrading prior to that moment, if you take those numbers, right, and you say upgrade 10 for 3250, you're saving 7,000 essence by doing it early. And then when you, when I pressed the button the one time, it changed to these numbers. Because I did a times 10, it then changed to these numbers. Now, I've been told that if you were to press the 100, it would then go to, I think, 150. But within that 10, it would eventually get to 600. And I don't think that if you pressed it singular amounts of times, I don't think that you're saving anything by doing it because you're also gaining less. You're just getting the 1. Spending 3250 at once for 10 is like I said, if you take it for the ultimate price of 10,000 for 10, 3250, you're saving 7,000. At which point, when I did that, and it changed to 8,200, I'm still saving 1,800. And so then when I pressed, and then I think when I pressed it again, that's when it eventually just got to the price that it always will be, which is 10,000 for 10. If you wanted to try and do the 100 just forever until it got to what the actual price would be, which is 1,000, you could do that too. But what I'm saying is, I think that I did it the correct way. I think that saving the amount that I saved in between, saving doing it for 2,750, saving 8,000, I think that's the correct way to do it. I could be wrong, and once you get to this point, it doesn't matter anyway. These are the permanent points. This is the permanent point that everything will always cost. So essentially, When you press the button, you are gaining a random perk level. So one of these will go up. And this is the new grind in this game. But the difference between the old grind in this game and this new version of a grind in this game is that these will eventually max out, at which point you can use anything for any deck forever. And I think that ultimately is better than having to re-roll three equipments that you made. Maybe you eventually mythic'd out everything, but even with that, you'd still want to re-roll your enchantments. If you didn't want to be like me and you just wanted to counterspell all the time, you would have to re-roll all of your enchantments for all of your equipment whenever you wanted to change a different deck. So maybe when you realize that Crit Bow was really good for this deck and it was really good for this deck, maybe when you run Treant, because maybe Treant gets a buff, right? When you run Crit Bow in here, you want to use Counterspell. Because you're not running Mermaid, and you don't want to run Regeneration, right? So then you want to run triple Counterspell. But then if you run the Genie deck and you run Mermaid, now you have to re-roll. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe they nerf Treant, now they buff Genie. Now you want to switch decks, and all of a sudden now you have to re-roll three enchantments again for 3 Morally Greys, right? With this new system, you don't have to do that. You can just switch them out and just play a different deck. You can this allows you to experiment with things that you never would have tried before. I think that the theory crafting for this entire system is really, really strong. Being able to go through this and see what would work in what specific deck you want to play. Look at your levels and then say like, oh, you know what? I think this would be really good. Actually, I don't think this is really good for this deck. Maybe I'll try something else. Being able to say, let me try something else is the biggest benefit of this update. This is a very large grind. Each of these levels go to 10. So you can look at my levels. I need 5,000 here. I'm going to need 6,000 here. This is all in essence, right? So I need 5,000 essence to upgrade this, 6,000 to upgrade this, 7,000 to upgrade this, 8,000 to upgrade this, 9,000 to upgrade this, 4,000 to upgrade this, right? And then I have ones that are even unlocked. So that's another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 essence that I will eventually need if I max out all of that and then want to max out these as well. The essence grind is going to be insane. Like that's obvious. The essence grind for this game is going to be insane. That brings me to my next point, which is how do you unlock these? There's a little symbol next to each of these, and that is legendarity. What they did was they took away all of your crit. The only way that you're getting crit is through commons, rares, and epics. If you've upgraded all of your common, rare, and epic units, the only other thing that you need to upgrade are your common, rare, and epic heroes. You probably have all of your commons, rares, but I'm pretty sure you don't have all of your epic heroes maxed out. With that being said, I have most of mine maxed out, and you know, this is 100, 99, 97, 93, and so the real big one is the 54 going to 100 on my Flickr. The difference between me and a person with actual max crit, I have 3479. If you go into leaderboards, there we go. Stevie Weeks has max everything, and so his max crit is going to be, why don't I see it? 3563 on the top here. 3563, and I have 3479. That's your crit difference now. 3563 is max crit, and even with my account, I have 3479. That brings up my next point. And they need to figure this out because they didn't with just this update. They didn't change anything. Night Statue. Night Statue gives you crit chance. That's very specifically what it does. It gives you 2% crit chance. And then as you upgrade it, you get more and more crit chance, right? That's the whole thing. It's the whole reason why you use Night Statue. This crit chance that it's giving you, this 8% crit chance that it's giving you, in order for you to do crit damage, your 3479 crit damage prior to this update was like 8,000 crit damage. You were critting for very, very high amounts. And then you added like a crit bow, and you were critting for even more than those numbers. Crit damage is no longer as important as it used to be. Kobold was the best thing. It's going to be even better now. Raw damage is going to be your best friend. Anything that has that required high crit is going to be much worse. If you use a Banshee deck, and I've seen people like have success with Banshee still, I'm just saying that they haven't changed the faction bonus. And I was solely playing Banshee ever since this faction bonus happened, and I was not playing Treant. I tried playing Banshee a couple of times, and it's not good. I've seen people do it, and it's good for them. I'm just saying, for me, it is not as good as it used to be. Because a lot of my damage was crit damage. It was crit bow damage. It was critting for a large quantity on bosses. Being able to out damage your opponent because of earth elemental bombs. And being able to stack damage with earth elemental, making Venom do more damage, and having the time with Banshee to do more damage. And then you were raising your damage with your base damage with your Kobold, but your crit bow and your crit damage was what was carrying you. And I realize that now because it feels really, really bad. It feels much worse after this update. But what does feel much better is a Treant deck. I'm going to go into that at the end of this video, but I do want to talk about a couple more things. Perks. Perks are going to be your passive abilities that always work in, I want to say most modes or all modes. And these are passive stats that just always work. This little attack speed modifier is going to be attack speed increase for each of these things. This one is it alters the attack speed and reduces it by 5% for each of their units. There's another one. This is Blessing of the Forest. When the faction blessing is active, you increase the damage of all of your units by 10%. That's for every single unit. So when there is a bonus happening, so right now it's Techno and Magic Council. You will constantly get a 10% bonus to both Techno and Magic Council because that's the faction bonus that's happening. So you're just getting 10% additional on top of that. This is Mana Training. You can go through all of these. Now, here's the thing. When I started, when they did the transfer, when they turned all of my equipment into this new system, what they did was they basically gave me level 40 on basically all of these. You can go into my live and watch me do it, but I basically spent 2 million gold and all of my perk, or like as many perk fragments as they gave me. I currently have 282,000 perk fragments left. If your question is, what do I spend this on? My question is, what do I spend this on? And I asked Dr. Aegon, and he said, you know what? I have the notes to prove it. 1 second. And I quote, "Keep them for now. The system may get expanded in the future." May. Or it may not. Yeah. So, yeah. I have 282,000 perk fragments that I can literally do nothing with. And in this game, I'm still getting perk fragments in the same way that I'm getting gold, because gold is still a thing. And now they give you perk fragments in rewards. Here's 50 more perk fragments. And if you buy the pass, you can also get 50 more perk fragments. There is currently no way of doing anything with extra perk fragments. So my entire grind for getting as many equipment as I got to the levels that I got them awarded me with max perks, which is cool, and 282,000 perk fragments that there is literally nothing I can do with. I can't use them. I have quests. Gain or upgrade perks. I have a quest that I can get 350 Hero Tavern points to gain or upgrade perks. There are no other perks in this game. This is it. If you do not have the legendarity that I do, and you don't even have some of these unlocked, and you don't have all of these at 50, because these all max out at 50, just know that eventually you will eventually get these all maxed, and then there will be nothing to do. You will have no way to use any of your perk fragments, and you will just gain hundreds of thousands of perk fragments and have nothing to do with it. And I think that's one of the main like terrible points about this game. I made a video on my channel about this game called Questbound. And in Questbound, you have the ability to farm anything that you specifically want in the game. If you want this, this is how you farm it. If you want this, this is how you farm it. Oh, if you don't use this resource anymore, you can trade that in, get a resource that you want. The fact that there are so many things in this game that you constantly need. You know what I need? I need essence. I need hundreds of thousands of essence in order to upgrade all of this. I need 4,000 essence here. I need 4,000 essence here. I need 5,000 essence here. 5,000 essence here. 5,000 essence here. And it's not pickable, right? Because it's all random. I'm just saying that in order for this to max out so that it then eventually goes to something else, I need 5,000 essence for this, 6,000 essence for this, 6,000 essence for this, 6,000 essence for this, 6,000 essence for this, 50,000 essence for this whenever I unlock this. You need so much essence in this game. And yet I have 282,000 perk fragments that I can't do anything with. I think that is an insane feature about this game. I think it's insane that you can have 342 extra gadget shards and do nothing with it. I think it's insane that you can have 42,000 thrower fragments and do nothing with it. It is one of the things that frustrates me the most about this game, is that there is no cycle system. There is no way to do anything with anything. If this were Questbound, you'd be able to trade this for gold, and then there would be a store where you could buy essence with gold. There would be a way to trade 342 gadget fragments for store fragments so that you could buy gold, essence, perk fragments. other, boxes so that you can get common cards, rare cards, epic cards, legendary cards. There would be ways to get rid of everything so that when you get a season pass, when you buy a season pass and you get gold from your season pass, when you get, 170 common cards, this wouldn't feel bad. I'm sorry to go on a rant. This is 34.0 talk, but like, it's just another example of a resource that you have now that you can't do anything with. And that frustrates the fuck out of me. Anyway, there are also spells, as you saw on the top. With spells, you can only choose one. I really like Great Purification. You can go through all of them yourself. I do think that this reads really well. It does not play really well. Every single time I ever use this in a game, it doesn't do what it says it does. I don't know if it's bugged or what the deal is with this thing, but it is bad. Do not use it. Great Purification is as good as it sounds. Cleanses 3 units on the field of negative effects. It's like a fixed mermaid. Mermaid, when you activate it, it throws bubbles on some things that don't even need bubbles on it. This specifically targets 3 things that need to be cleansed and instantly cleanses them. It's a very, very good cleansing thing. The bad cleansing thing, there is a counter spell, and I do not think it's that great. I would rather use Great Purification so that I could run 3 other things, because the counter spell that they give you, I believe it's this one. Killing a boss or mini boss has a 27% chance to remove a negative effect from 1 unit. The effect activates after a delay of 3 seconds. At max, it's a 35% chance to remove a negative effect from 1 unit. And the 35% chance is not high. And unlike original counterspell, when you would have 3 instances of it, you had a 20% chance of, if I spec'd out all my gear, which is what I did, with 20% chance, I think it was a 10% chance, but you had 3 instances of a 10% chance. And so every single boss or mini boss that happened, you would have 3 instances of getting a cleanse, of a 10% chance of getting a cleanse. That is much better than this singular 35% chance. And if you want to, see like what that difference is, flip 3 coins and pick either heads or tails. The idea is that if you pick heads and you have 3 instances of getting a heads, that's much easier than if you only had 1 instance of a 35% chance of getting heads. And that's why I don't think the regular individual counterspell is that great. I do think that the Purification, if you are a cleanse maniac like myself, the Great Purification is very, very strong. And the last thing that I want to talk about is Legendarity. I already talked about how commons, rares, and epics are going to change your crit. The thing about Legendarity is it's going to give you access to specific things in this game. So like you saw, for spells and artifacts, I don't have these bottom ones unlocked because I need higher Legendarity. The max thing being the 1650, but one of the best things being Petrification. You just get to Stone Golem 4 things for 5 seconds every 60 seconds. It's pretty insane. It also can't be cleansed, which is important, which means that if you Stone Golem if you Stone Golem a Twilight Ranger, they can't just merge a Twilight Ranger and instantly cleanse it. It does not cleanse. They can't use their version of, they can't use their Great Purification and save it. It's just, it immediately Stone Golems it, and they can't do anything about it for 5 seconds. It's very, very strong. But in order to get that, you need 1450 legendarity. How do you get legendarity? From legendaries, if that wasn't obvious. Every time you upgrade a legendary, you gain legendarity. So if I upgrade this bruiser from 11 to 12, I'm gaining 5 legendarity. If I upgrade... What's something else? Here we go. If I upgrade this level 9 Clock of Power to level 10, I'm gaining 4 legendarity. These are my units. I have a lot of max units. I have a pretty high account. And as you can see, I still need more legendarity. Because the other thing that's also going to give you legendary heroes, if that wasn't obvious. Even upgrading a Zeus from 20 to 21, you're getting 1 legendarity. And then you have Lucia as well. And then you have Necromancer and Fortuna. My current legendarity with my account is... Where do I see that? I'll never see it. My current legendarity is 1037, which isn't terrible. But if we want to compare my legendarity with Stevie Weeks the man, 1773. Currently 1800 is max legendarity. Now, you don't need to have 1800 legendary to unlock everything, but it will show you how much you have to upgrade. Technically, I think 1650 is the max thing that you would need legendarity for. I don't think you need more legendarity than that, which is good. I'm glad that they don't have an 1800 spell. Like an 1800, person with max legendarity spell. Opponent surrenders this game. Opponent glitches out and loses internet connection spell for 1800 legendarity. But I think, so I think that 1650 is the max legendarity now. Or I'm sorry, 1650 is the max that you would ever need. But there are other things that I've been told that also change because of your crit and your legendarity, because they've all been changed. And one of those things, as soon as I can find it, okay, here we go. One of those things I've been told, but I have high enough legendarity to where I don't care, is the magic orbs and the celestial shards. I don't know what the numbers are for that, but in order to gain access to that, you're either going to have to raise your crit, which is raising your commons, rares, and epics, which is again their effort to getting you to upgrade your cards. There was an idea that if you had less than 2k crit, you would have easier matchups. So people were upgrading legendaries and then upgrading a singular legendary, like maxing out a bard and then having 1500 crit and playing against people at that crit level with a max bard, with a reincarnation 3 bard. And their new idea is that now, in order to play a lot of the game, in order to access spells, you have to raise your legendary heroes, but you also have to now you're being forced to upgrade your commons, rares, and epics in order to access things like the legendary store, things to access divisions. I do believe that divisions have also changed because if you don't have high enough crit, then you're going to be in a lower division and you're gaining less things for your trophy or your PvP rewards. Your PvP rewards are changing. And if you don't have Division 8 resources, then you don't have all of these benefits. I don't think it's difficult to get. I don't think having 3000 crit or having 500 legendarity, I don't think that's difficult. But it is something that you have to do now in order to get the bonuses that you were getting before. And that is an effort for them to tell you, please upgrade things. Stop trying to purposely have a weak account just so you can game the system. Now you can't do that. So that's now a thing. That's pretty much it. I'm eventually going to make a video where I do talk about all the spells and artifacts, and talk about them in depth. I kind of did that in my live, so you can go, if you really want to know, you can go check that out. But I do think that I do want to do some kind of tier list, or maybe just talk about them. I haven't really thought about it yet. I don't know when that's coming, but I know that that is now something that I can do potentially. I was gonna theoretically show you a game, but suffice it to say, I won this. I won against a level 60 Zeus, with a level 4 glasses, with a Twilight Ranger who is a Pantheon unit with a Pantheon bonus of 20%. And I won. This deck is very, very strong. With the new system, it is more important now to do base damage, to have a higher base damage. Not necessarily to where you have crit, but just to gain damage after damage after damage. You can't just have high crit anymore and win games. Kobold is going to be your best friend. Units that gain stacks are going to be your best friend. You can't just run an engineer deck and think that you're going to win. I think one of the biggest blows to probably this update is High Arcanist Crystalmancer. Or what is it? Is that the bad one? What's the bad one? What's the bad one that I hate? That guy was all crit damage. That guy, the reason why that guy was so good was because that was all crit damage. Oh, God. What am I doing? It's High Arcanist Crystalmancer, right? Yeah, High Arcanist Crystalmancer. Yeah, go play your High Arcanist Crystalmancer deck right now. Go tell me how good that is now. That guy was all crit damage. The reason why that was so good, Godlike Mike has videos on it, like how he did like 500 billion damage or something. I don't know. He had like the highest like crit damage on it. He did like one of the highest crit damages ever done in a game. But like High Arcanist Crystalmancer is an example of somebody that benefits from high crit, and crit chance and crit damage. That is no longer a thing in this game. 3,500 crit is your max crit right now. I used to laugh at people who had 4,000 crit, because like max crit was like 8,000. So do not rely on crit damage. You need something with very good base damage. You need a Kobold because it grows your base damage. You need defense reduction because it's going to be much more important in order to push damage. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's a lot of things to talk about with spells and artifacts. And then they're also introducing Valkyrie. I thought that I would just make this as a beginner's guide, or as a, an intro guide to 34.0 in the case that you still don't understand what it is and the ins and outs of it. So hopefully that was helpful. And I will catch you guys next video.